All right, welcome everyone. So we have some exciting price action for Bitcoin. It's looking unbelievably strong. It's actually looking much stronger than I anticipated. You know that I talked about this area being used as resistance, and my thesis for the bull market being on is invalidated if this area act as resistance, right? And we have to wait a couple of probably a couple of weeks more. But it actually looks like Bitcoin might actually be able to break out of this area right here. So it's very, very exciting. Before we go into the actual analysis of Bitcoin here, I want to say a huge thank you to Prime XPT for sponsoring these live streams. Check out the link in the description below to get a 7K deposit bonus when you sign up and do your first deposit on Prime XPT. Another thing I want to show you guys is the fact that the RLZ Trading website is now up and running. So it officially launched yesterday. So this will be our home in the RLZ Slingshot trading community. So you can see right here, you can go to the website. It's rlz.com. It's finally up. You'll read more about us, about the community, about the different products that we offer, the trading room. You gain access to the trading room through this site. Before this, we had a Google form, like very unprofessional, right? But now we have a solid structure where you get access to the trading room. You can easily get access to the Discord through this website right here, and you can read more about the trading program and the trading room. Now, of course, this is a work in progress, and what I'm working on right now is actually adding a lot of content to the members area. So when you actually do sign up for membership of the RLZ Trading Room, you will also gain access to a introductory course where I will walk you through my way of trading, and a introductory course to the RLZ Slingshot system. And the idea is for all of us to have the same approach and the same mindset when we're in the trading room, because remember, the trading room is limited. It's limited to only 200 members, and we might actually make that number lower, right? So we're going to be having a small community with only traders that is serious about trading, to get that good feeling in the community. So definitely check out the website. I'm just very very proud and happy about launching this finally, and still a lot of work to do to add all the content to the members area, but it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. The plan that me and Hercules have for this is just it's going to be amazing. All right, so let's look at Bitcoin right here. Let's see what we have right here. So good evening, and good morning, Joel. Hope you guys are doing fine this fine Tuesday. So let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. First of all, I want to look at the 4-hour, right? So this is just amazingly strong, and it kind of reminds me of something. You guys remember the beginning of the last bull market when we finally broke above 20K? I remember it like it was yesterday, because I was standing here in my basement and I was about to go out on a walk with the kids. I remember getting alerts of Bitcoin, like I had alerts, on the show of Bitcoin breaking out into new all-time highs, and I just dropped everything. I mean, I was putting clothes on my 4-year-old. I dropped everything. I left him alone in the basement. I ran to the office. I'm like, I gotta look at Bitcoin, So I really do remember that. Now, for those wondering, my office is right 2 meters from where I had the kids. It's not like I'm leaving them alone, but I could, because that was an amazing feeling. So what this kind of reminds me of is, you have, when we started breaking above 20K, right here, it just took the move was just absolutely parabolic. And if you look at the 4-hour right now, you're seeing this strong breakout, like that massive breakout. Now, of course, we can't really compare the two, because this is a break into new all-time highs. But what I'm saying here is Bitcoin likes to leave a lot of people behind. People that actually wait for a retest and breaking retest, that sort of stuff. Bitcoin tends to kind of leave those people behind. That's why I think it's much more valuable in a bear market to be dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, like I have been recommending you guys for probably 6 months, to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. I really do hope you took that advice, because it might just be the case that Bitcoin is just going to continue straight up. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it's likely, but if you look at the history of Bitcoin, Bitcoin likes to leave people behind, and it likes to surprise people. And what do I mean by surprising people? Well, if it breaks out, a lot of people are going to go, oh, you know, this level looks good for retest. I'm that type of person, you know, because that's the way I'm trading. But Bitcoin is different. So you say like, oh, this level looks good for a retest right here, and it's gone, right? And it's gone, and it forms this accumulation pattern up here, and everyone's seeing this and they're thinking, well, it hit resistance, now it's time to go back and test the perfect breakout area. Now what happens? It just continues straight up. Now let's go to the current price. What are we seeing at current price? Exactly the same thing. Bitcoin broke out of this low time frame range. Well, it's not really low time frame range, but it's a range. Got the range highs right here, broke out, accumulating. Will we retest this level? I don't know if it will. Is it a good level? Yes. Is it the obvious level? Yes. You have the daily 20 EMA, you have the daily 50 EMA. This is the first time the daily 20 EMA has crossed above the 50 EMA with multiple daily candles closing above in quite some time. And I'm viewing this as a fake out. So this 20 EMA crossing above the 50, I would just view that as a fake out. And by the way, this is what you're seeing here on the chart. That's the RLZ slingshot indicator. And you'll see that we're going to be adding a new product to the website shortly, where you'll be able to gain access to the RLZ slingshot indicator through the website for a small fee. And not only will you gain access to the RLZ slingshot indicator, you will also, included in the price, gain access to a short course on how to use the indicator just like I'm using it. And it's you're able to modify this quite well. You can choose which EMAs to use, if you want to use pin bars, if you want to use engulfing candles, you want to have the stochastic RSI filter, do you want to filter the signals with the RSI crossover, do you want the weekly and monthly open on the chart, and lots of different things you can modify. It's a very simple yet powerful trading indicator, and that's our motto. Motto? I don't even know if that's the right thing to say, but in the RLZ trading community, we'd like to say that simplicity is the quickest path to greatness, right? So success in trading relies on having a simple approach, because it's hard as it is, right? So you have to keep things simple, and technical analysis, while overwhelming at first, can be quite simple. And that's the whole approach. Now, if you look at this chart right here, you see that when Bitcoin is trading above the daily 50 EMA, with the 20 EMA being above the 50 EMA, it's historically a good time to start buying. However, what I like to see in a scenario like that is, I first want to see a daily bullish market structure to really confirm that we're ready to start buying for real. And that haven't really happened, right? So we can see right here, this was actually a sign that it might have started to form, right? You have that range right here, you have price breaking above this level right here, the 20 EMA crosses above the 50 EMA, but you want to have like a higher high, higher low, and then a trend to form. So it almost happened there, but didn't really happen. You had some sort of a daily bullish market structure right here, but that was just sort of a fake out with the daily 20 EMA just barely crossing above the 50, and then in the next couple of daily candles is breaking down. What we have right now is a very different scenario. We have the daily 20 EMA being above the daily 50 EMA. It happened right here. Right here is where it crossed, and we have, let's see, we have right here That's where it crossed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 daily candles opening and closing, kind of confirming that cross. And if we do get something like this, we have a daily bullish market structure above the 20 and the 50 EMA. So it's actually looking very good. Now, if we break above this level, which I would say is the area between 20 and 21.5, let's just say 22. So if we break above this region, the 22 region, I don't think it's very likely that we'll see that retest of the 18K and 19K region, which is this level right here. So if we see something like this, I don't think it's very likely we come down and test this area. And that's where I believe that people who are looking to enter along on Bitcoin has a pretty good opportunity to start filling up on their Bitcoin positions. Should you be buying here? I think it's way too early to start buying Bitcoin at this level right here, because we're actually inside a massive resistance area. And then if you go on the weekly, which is very interesting as well, is you're not really putting in a bullish market structure, but you're very close to do so. You have a double top right here, right? But if you create something like this with a higher high and then bounce here, you actually have a higher high and a higher low. And this might be the start of a new weekly bullish market structure. Yes, go ahead, Crystal. Whatever questions you guys have, just let me know. If you need help with anything and anything trading related, just let me know. And by the way, guys, don't forget to hit the like button so we can get more people in here and share more realistic and honest trading advice. I don't want to give you guys false expectations and unrealistic expectations of what trading is all about. And I'm not going to tell you that Bitcoin is just going to go straight up. I'm just going to give you the the different scenarios that I'm watching and what I think will and can happen. And at this point right now, it's very important that we do focus on the fact that Bitcoin is at resistance. So you got to be careful. You got to wait for confirmation. Another thing I really like, though, is the fact that you have the weekly 20 EMA right here. I think I have a template for that, do I? Yeah, weekly 20 EMA right here. So that's the weekly 20 EMA. Let's go back to the daily. So we do now have the weekly 20 EMA right above that 18, 19K region. So yes, it's such a beautiful area for a possible retest. Will it happen? If this area right here acts as resistance, I think we're going to come down and test the weekly 20 EMA, because it's just a strong level and it usually gets retested once reclaimed or broken above. Now, where would we have the first signs of a breakdown? Well, as you can see right here on the daily, you'll see this resistance area right here for Bitcoin. Right, like somewhere almost in the middle of that resistance area is the weekly open level. Now it's Tuesday, so the weekly open has already has basically been open for a day, so it's not really that strong, but still it's a good indication of weakness if lost. So you also see here that right below the weekly open, you have the 20 EMA and the 4-hour. So if we lose the weekly open and the 20 EMA and the 4-hour, I think it's a good sign that we might break down. So let's view this as a low time frame range, and let's see where the weekly open and the 20 EMA and the 4-hour comes in. So how do we do this? Well, we go down to the 15-minute, right? The 15-minute, and I'm going to go down to I'm going to select, I have 2 copies of the RLZ slingshot indicator, one for the lower time frames and one for the higher time frames. And let's go into the lower time frames one, and we want to have the higher time frame at 4-hour. 4-hour 20. Higher time frame EMA, 4-hour 20, and then we're going to be looking at the no, that's going to be the daily. That's going to be the daily. So we go down to the higher time frame EMA, 4-hour 20 and 4-hour 50. That's perfect. So as you can see right now, these dotted lines right here, that's going to be the 4-hour 20 and the 4-hour 50. So the 4-hour 20 is right here. So that's the 4-hour 20 EMA. Now let's see, do we have a range here? And it kind of looks like we do have some sort of low time frame range right here. Now what we're going to do is also we want to remove all the indicators like that. to make it a little bit cleaner. And now let's add horizontal levels here. You can see that that's going to be the range low area. This is going to be the range EQ area, which looks perfect. And then we have the range high area, which is a little bit wider. It's not perfect, right? But and then we're going to remove the fib tool. Looks a little bit better. See here, let's add the weekly open. So right here we have the weekly open, and here we have the 4-hour 20 EMA, and here we have the range low area. So if we break below the range low area here, we have broken below the weekly open, the 4-hour 20 EMA, and the range low of this low time frame range. And if that happens, I think it's highly likely that we do break down. And where would the target be for this breakdown? Well, it will be the weekly 20 EMA. Right. So let's go out. Let's zoom out. Let's go back to the 4-hour. So I hope you guys are following my thought process here, right? We will look for a high time frame level, and then we'll go to the lower time frames to see if we can find confirmation of a breakdown. And a loss of the range low of this low time frame range would confirm a possible breakdown on the higher time frames. So now let's add a couple of fibs to this. So we're gonna go to the daily. Now on the daily, the low and the high of this move is very, very obvious. It's going to be that one, and it's going to be that one. So first, let's add the fib levels on the daily, the obvious move. It's going to be that one. And we're going to be using the old template because on this type of analysis, I want more levels. So we see right here, there's 2 levels of interest, and especially the 2 important ones are the 50% fib and the 0.618. So that's the daily fibs. Now, let's keep these daily fibs as is white. Now we're going to go to the 4-hour, and we're going to see, can we add different fibs on this move? And I don't think so. It's just so clear, right? So we're going to stick with the daily fibs. And we're going to be trying to find areas of confluence. So a good area of confluence here is the 0.382 confluent with the weekly 20 EMA. I think that would be a logical level for a target of this breakdown. And that would make sense. You know, this general area right here would make sense for a retest. Now, where is this invalidated? Let's go back to the 15-minute. This is the 15-minute chart, and this is the low time frame range. Where would this idea of a breakdown be invalidated? Well, it would be a break and retest of this range high area right here. And that would have to be a breakout on, I would say, the 4-hour. So if you have a breakout on the 4-hour, a high, and then a rounded retest of that previous range high area, so you have a break, multiple 4-hour candles closing here for a rounded retest and a confirmed bounce. If this happens, the idea of a possible breakdown down to the weekly 20 EMA is invalidated. And at that point, I think it's highly likely that we're not coming down to test that 18K level again, and the bull market is absolutely on. Now, I haven't really checked the news. I need to see when the next Fed meeting is and that sort of stuff, because that will most likely be the next catalyst for the next major move to the upside or to the downside. Let's go through a couple of questions. Any questions? What shampoo do you use? I use the shampoo based on like olive oil. It's very nice, organic. It's very expensive, but it's very good. It's like just olive oil. There you go. Which MA indicators exactly do you use? All right, so the indicator that I use is called the RLZ Slingshot, and it's a private indicator, invite-only indicator. It will be it's currently available for all the program students, but it will also be available for everyone that wish to gain access. But if you go into this indicator, you'll see that it's based on 3 moving averages. It's you can pick and choose. You can choose whatever. This is the swing settings, and if you go to the scalping settings, you see that you have the 20, the 50, and the 100. And basically, in my trading, I use the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA. And then you might ask, why the 20 and why the 50? Why only the 20 and the 50? Why not the 21, the 55, the 89, the 100, the 200, blah, 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 blah? Well, simply because it works. It just works for me. And I've noticed that most of the people that ask me, Why this EMA and not this EMA? Why are you using only 2 EMAs while these traders that use 5 and 6 and 7, they have all these EMAs on the chart? Well, most likely you're asking that question because when you're doing your technical analysis, you kind of cast a wide net, right? You don't really have a solid roadmap, a solid structure, and a trading system. You just have a lot of different indicators and drawing tools on your chart, and you just cast a very wide net to see if you can catch any interesting confidence areas that might be a trade. Well, if that's the case, if you're in the learning phase of learning technical analysis and just getting into trading, I think that's a great idea to use a lot of different EMAs to see what works and then continue using what you see works. But you need to be gathering statistics on what you're actually doing to be able to actually know what works and what doesn't. And that's where most people fail. You fail because you don't gather the statistics. And I have a good backtesting template. I don't have the link to that one just yet, but if you sign up to the newsletter, which is completely free, and the backtesting template is completely free, you can sign up to the newsletter by going to rlztrading.com. rlztrading.com. You should be able to sign up for the newsletter right there. I will send out the backtesting template for you so you can test all of this on your own, right? What you need to do is you need to track which EMAs works. And what I did was I remember buying a course like in 2018, 19, and this guy that sold this course, terrible course, very unprofessional, but he used 2 EMAs. And I'm like, that looks interesting. And he used one, right? He only used the daily, the 50 EMA. He used one EMA, and I was using like 7. I'm like, if this guy can be profitable using 1 EMA, let me at least use 2, right? So I looked at the statistics of all my trades, and I looked at which of the EMAs gave me the best win rate, the best entry trigger, and that was the 20 and the 50 EMA. So I just decided, let's just scrap everything else and let's use the 20 and the 50, and that started the process where I tried to make my trading strategy as simple as possible and remove as many indicators as possible. So, and I think that's the journey you will have to do as well. Test everything. Just test everything and keep what's working. All right. And do you always enter at 50% after bounce in the RLZ, or do you sometimes enter in the RLZ straight away? And what does it depend on? Okay, so yeah, we can look at the most recent trade right here, where we entered GBP, Euro GBP right here. We did actually exit this one at entry. I'm very happy to tell you guys that we actually managed to exit this one at entry. Well, let's use the replay function right here. And this is an example where you don't really have the confirmation inside the reload zone, right? Because the confirmation is this candle right here. And you'll see that the RLZ slingshot indicator actually gives you a long signal right here, and that long signal together with my own analysis kind of confirms that this is a trade. So in this environment right here, you don't really get a good opportunity to enter directly inside the reload zone, right? But sometimes you do, and it's usually on the lower time frame. So if you looked at the 1 hour, you can see here, and on the 1 hour, maybe you have a good look, like, yeah, on the 1 hour, this would not be, like, this would actually, the same candle would be confirmation on the 1 hour as well. But yes, sometimes I will enter inside the reload zone. And if for example, the fib is very big, the fib drawing is very big, and the distance between the reload zone and the 50% is very big, and the confirmation just happens perfectly inside the reload zone, with the 4 hour moving average and everything aligning, yes, I will at that point take a trade on the break and retest of the 50%. But my win rate has gone up significantly since I started taking only trades based on the break and retest of the 50. So we can go here and we can look at my trading journal, right? So you'll see right here that if you go to the homepage right here, you'll see that my overall win rate since beginning of November is 52%. My monthly win rate is 86%, and my weekly win rate is, well, it's one winner, so it's 100%. But last week was actually 100% as well. But 86% this month on 7 trades. Very proud of that. I'm really liking that results, right? And that is mostly, in my opinion, mostly based on being very, very careful with the trades I'm taking, and taking high confirmation, high probability trades, and that is the break and retest of the 50%. Since I did that, I've been trading less, I've been more profitable, and my win rate has just been absolutely going straight up. So, and I'm currently at my fifth, sixth. I don't know how to pronounce that. 6 winners in a row, and that's the first time in this journal. So I think we're in for a losing streak soon. But still, it's the break and retest of the 50 is it's what works best for me. But then I have some students which they have a slightly different approach to the system. Remember, you can trade a system in many different ways. It's all up to like your personal approach, right? But I have some students which they really like to enter early inside the reload zone, and they have great results. Slightly lower win rate, but more profitability, because the trades, of course, naturally, it's going to be higher risk to reward trades because you enter inside the reload zone. You enter lower than what I do. But I prefer to take fewer trades. I prefer to, be a little bit more relaxed in my trading, because I got so much else going on around my trading, with the RLZ Trading and developing the courses and all that, right? So I try to spend as little time as possible actually trading, and that has been a recipe for success in my case. The less time I spend looking at charts and the more time I spend is following the signals of the indicator, the more profitable I actually am. All right, so let's take a look at the dollar currency index, and then we're going to be taking a look at audio, because we have Die Hard Ellis from the trading room wants me to take a look at audio. First, we look at the dollar currency index, and all I can tell you here about the dollar currency index is, first and foremost, when you see a chart like this one, remember that the dollar currency index is never to be traded or to be analyzed on time frames lower than the daily, because usually what you want to look at, signs of like the risk sentiment in the dollar currency index. Most people, they look at the dollar currency index and they say, this is an indication of where risk is going, right? So if the dollar currency index is going down, it means risk assets like Bitcoin, the stock market, etc., is going up. Dollar down, risk up. But this is not a perfect representation of the strength of the dollar. This is the dollar measured against a basket of different currencies. So it's not a direct correlation with risk. However, it's very often a good indication of risk. And on the high time frames, it's shown. But on the lower time frames, it makes little sense, because the dollar cost average, like the dollar currency index, can be pumping on the lower time frames, and Bitcoin can be pumping as well, but you will never see risk assets in an uptrend while the higher time frames on the dollar currency index being down. So if you look at the daily on the dollar currency index, you'll see that obviously this downtrend here, this uptrend here has obviously been broken, and on the daily right now we have a downtrend. Now there is still a possibility that you'll see a move up to this level and still keep the overall downtrend. So what I'm thinking is, if we do get a pump here for the dollar currency index here on the daily up to the 103.1 area or something like that, this might be, you might see some bearish movement on risk assets like Bitcoin. And if the dollar currency index breaks here and just continues lower, like it kind of looks like it's going to do right now, if that happens, well, Bitcoin is most likely going to break out of this low time frame range and go above major resistance area right here, and that might actually signal the beginning. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that might actually signal technically entering a bull market. Like, I'm gonna be very careful with the words I'm using here, because I don't think we're there yet, got to be very careful with the words I'm using, and because I don't want you guys to believe, like, think that I'm telling you to buy Bitcoin because we're in a bull market. I've already told you to buy Bitcoin with a dollar currency, dollar cost average strategy for the last 6 months. Now it's not the time to go all in. You've had many months to accumulate. Now is not the time to go all in because we're at resistance. However, in a couple of days or maybe a week or two, it might actually be time to start building those long-term positions on Bitcoin if you haven't done so already. Let's quickly look at audio, but before we look at audio, we want to look at the S&P 500 because we want to see, like, because this is obviously a good indication of risk as well. Now, the S&P 500 is actually one of the bullish scenario that I've looked at on the S&P 500 actually looks like it's playing out. Okay, so if we do get something like this, a retest of this level, which is the, let's say, the area between 3.9 and 3.950. If we get a retest of that level and a bounce for a move higher, I think it's highly likely that the S&P 500 is also entering a bull market, which would be crazy. I think it's too early for that to happen. We also have that resistance above, so a reclaim of 4.1k for the S&P 500 is very, very important. I want to look at the economic news calendar before we look at audio, because I think it's very important that we try to get an idea of when the next Fed meeting is going to take place. We have Fed Williams' speech today at 9 in 6 hours, 7 hours. That's going to be perhaps a little bit important. Tomorrow we have PPI is going to be interesting. We had Fed Bostic and Bullard speaking. We got a lot of Fed speeches tomorrow, so that might act as a catalyst for potential move higher or lower on Bitcoin. We have United Kingdom inflation rate, Bank of Japan interest rate decision, and PPI in the United States in the next 7 days. So we got a lot of major news event here while Bitcoin is trading at resistance. So it might act as a catalyst for a move higher or lower. And I think it's best to wait for those news catalysts to play out and then make a decision on a possible new long-term position on Bitcoin. All right. So before we end the live stream, we're going to take a look at audio. So the first thing I can see here on the daily is that audio is clearly in a downtrend. What would have to happen for audio to break this downtrend is a retest of this level right here. So this is the level that we should be watching on audio. So maybe perhaps something like this would be good for a high time frame break in market structure on audio. And in terms of trade, like those local trend trading, I think this trend right here it's just so far gone, in my opinion. It's very risky to enter long on this one, though. I do like the structure of this latest move right here. I think one could make the argument that we do have a bounce inside the reload zone and breaking retest up to 50. But you see right here, the weekly open is way too close. If the weekly open were up here, maybe we could be taking a trade that kind of looks like this and take profit at the weekly open. I don't know. I think this is just way too risky. I think we need to wait for Bitcoin to break out and retest the breakout level or come down lower before we even think about taking trades on altcoins. Guys, you're going to be seeing on Twitter a lot of people that have accumulated different altcoins are going to be posting insane gains. And they probably have already started posting insane gains on the moves that they made on these moves right here. They're going to be posting insane gains on this, and they're going to try to make you FOMO, or well, not try to make you FOMO, but you're definitely going to feel the FOMO when you see screenshots of trades like that. Understand that once people start posting screenshots of their profitable trades, it's a top signal. It's time to sell that position. It's time to take profit. Whenever you have a feeling of like, holy shit, look at the profit, I'm going to post a screenshot on Twitter, that's a very good indication of telling you that it's time to take profit, right? Because the market will just come around and humble you if you don't take profit and you start posting those screenshots. So remember that the FOMO you feel by looking at those results will only lose you money. Better to let 95% of everyone else FOMO while you wait for the stop losses of those impulsive FOMO trades to get hit, and then you enter when people are like, ah, god damn it, I know I shouldn't have entered this. Try to think, try to use that reverse psychology, right? If you really want to enter a position, don't enter a position. If you feel like you really do not want to enter a position because price is just horrible, maybe that's a good time to start actually entering a position. And the same thing goes for Bitcoin. If you didn't enter here because you thought that we were going lower, why do you want to enter here? Why do you want to enter here if you didn't want to enter here? Because it's basically the same area. It's basically the same goddamn range. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Thanks for joining, and don't forget to check out the RLZTrading.com new website. Remember to hit like and subscribe if you want more live streams like this one. I will be going live every day. That's right, every day. I will be going live on YouTube to give you guys market updates on the Forex and the crypto market. All right, take care, guys, and see you guys in the next one.